Let's spread our trees far and wide and add custom tree generation to our mod. You have questions about Minecraft modding or just want to hang out and see some cool creations from other people? Maybe you want to plug your own mod or suggest a tutorial? Well, join my Discord server linked in the description below. However, be sure to properly read the rules and then you'll be welcomed to a cool place all about modding and Kaupenjoe's content. Alright, we found ourselves back in Intelligence more, and in this tutorial we're going to be adding a custom tree generation to Minecraft over here with Fabric 120.2. And basically, what's once again very important is that you have seen both the previous tutorial as well as the tutorial before that. Basically, because we need the configured feature and the place features, we all need that basically done with the data gen over here with mod world generator class. You can of course also take a look at the description below in the GitHub repository. All of the code is available to you, so that is also possible. However, I do recommend you basically go through the last two tutorials to number one, get the tree as well as the world gen all set up and correctly done. And then what we can do is basically we already have the configured feature right here, which is going to be the chestnut configured feature. And this one basically spawns the chestnut tree from the sapling when you either have it grow randomly over time or if you use bone meal on it, and that all already works totally fine. And now we're going to introduce a place feature right here. For this, we're going to need registry key once again. So let's take a look. So this is going to be a public static final registry key of type placed feature, and this is going to be our chestnut underscore placed underscore key equal to the register key method. I'm going to call this the chestnut underscore placed. And then we want to register the placed feature. We're going to call the register method, passing in the context and then the chestnut placed key right here. Then we want to use the configured feature registry entry lookup right here, call get or throw, using the mod configured features.chestnut key. After the first closing parentheses, we then want to call the vegetation placed features.tree modifiers with would survive. Very important that we choose the correct method right here. First parameter is going to be placed features.create count extra modifier, passing in, let's say, a 2 and then a 0.1f and then another 2, let's say. After the first closing parentheses, mod blocks dot chestnut sapling. Now, this is some craziness. What is happening here? Well, the first thing, let's take a look at the tree modifiers with would survive over here. Let's middle mouse button click on this, and we can middle mouse button click on this again to see where this is being used. So I highly recommend that you can see vegetation placed features class. Highly recommended to always take a look at the vanilla classes over here and see what they're doing, right? Like trees taiga, you can see using the tree modifiers. The badlands over here would survive with the count extra and so on and so forth. I highly recommend you always take a look at how vanilla does things and basically infer from there on what you need to, well, basically have a similar sort of setup in the world gen. And then the create count extra modifier over here is also very interesting. This determines how many trees are going to be spawning. And basically there's going to be 2 trees spawning with a 10% extra chance of another 2 being spawned. Now here, this is also quite important. The extra chance is very particular, and I don't quite know why, but if you middle mouse button click on this, you can see this illegal state exception being thrown. So if you get the error chance data cannot be represented as list weight, then your extra chance that you're passing in over here is not 1 divided by this is not an integer. This means, I'm deadly serious by the way, 1 has to be divisible by this and get an integer out. So 0.1, absolutely no worries, right? 1 divided by, if we were to put in 0.2, no worries either. 0.25, no worries at all. If we were to put in 0.3, all of a sudden, this would get an error. So if you put in 0.3 right here, it does not work because 1 divided by the number is not an integer. It has to be an integer. I don't know why they're doing it like this because this is absolutely insanity, but that's what they're doing. 1 divided by this extra chance has to be an integer, otherwise it's not going to work. And then lastly, the sapling over here is quite important. So the would survive basically just makes sure that the trees only spawn in positions where the chestnut sapling could survive, meaning of course dirt and or grass basically. If you do not have this and you're only using the tree modifiers method right here without passing in the chestnut sapling here as well, then the trees are going to spawn on top of each other, and that's going to be looking, well, very strange. So this is the place feature done, and we can then basically go into the gen package over here and create the mod tree generation. This is once again not strictly necessary, as you could also just call it in the mod world generation right here, but it is just a little bit easier to do it like that. There's going to be a public static void generate trees method over here. And we're going to generate this tree by using the biome modifications.add feature. We're going to do biome selectors.include by key. This time we're going to say biome keys dot, let's say plains, and let's, for the sake of argument, say biome keys dot forest here as well. Why not? After the first closing parentheses, we're going to do the generation step, which in the case of trees is going to be vegetal decoration. Very important we choose the correct one. And then lastly, but certainly not least, of course, also the mod place features dot chestnut place key over here to spawn the chestnut in this case. And we can then go to the mod world generator. And then here, it's quite important that we choose the correct order. So if we were to take another look at the vegetal decoration, if we middle mouse button click on this, you can see that first of all, raw generation, lakes, and so on and so forth. So we can see underground ores basically happens before the vegetal decoration. Highly recommended to heat that order right here. I don't know if this is 100% needed. However, it is a good thing to keep in mind and to basically to think about, to have the order of the generation here in mind. And with that, that is actually everything that we need to do. Of course, we do need to still run the data gen over here for the mod place feature to be created over here, but that is basically then it. We can also just take a look at that just for the sake of argument over here. So the generated one data tutorial mod world gen place feature, and you can see chestnut place right here is added. Absolutely freaking fantastic. And that is basically everything we're going to need. So just for the sake of argument, we're going to make a new world again and jump into the game and see if it works. Alright friends, so back in Minecraft, and as you can already see, the new trees are spawning over here as we are in a forest biome, and I believe that this should then be a plains biome, and you can roughly see how many trees are spawning, you know, like the little clusters over here, and basically just the variety of the way that they are spawning. As always, when it comes to the numbers and you're like, oh, I don't want my trees to be spawning like this, you can always play around with the numbers. I cannot recommend it enough. You will have to play around with them anyway, so that is a thing that I just basically urge you to do. And also, if you have any vanilla feature or a vanilla world gen type that you would like, always take a look at the vanilla classes. They are probably one of the best resources that they can use to basically take a look at this. But that is going to be custom tree generation added to Minecraft. But we're not done with trees just yet, because in this tutorial, we're going to be talking about custom trunk placers, at least a little bit. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.